I live in Mammoth, Arizona, and nothing has ever happened here worth writing about because, well, Mammoth has a population of around 1,500. 11 days ago, on the 3rd, an older woman who runs a home daycare center in my town was found dead in her bathroom by a parent who was picking up his daughter. The kids were all really agitated and told police that Mrs. Booker, the deceased, had been yelling at them and bleeding from her eye before she went into the bathroom and collapsed in her bathtub. Sad and unpleasant, but not really news. But a day later, one of the daycare babies developed a rash and started bleeding from her ear. She died about 12 hours later, and so did 8 other kids from that daycare, all with similar symptoms. This started a shitstorm in my town. In a town of 1,500 people, attempts to keep the people unaware and calm were an utter failure. It was on Facebook by the following day. 9 people who had been at the hospital when the kids were starting to trickle in also started exhibiting these symptoms, I'm told. None lasted more than a few days. By last Friday, 18 people who had indirect contact with the children were reported missing or dead of natural or unknown causes. All had exhibited similar symptoms just before their deaths. It was at this point that I became directly affected. My sister returned from Oro Valley, the closest hospital, a complete wreck. She had gone to visit her friend's new baby, and upon arriving, had been informed that both her friend and her baby had died. Everything I had just told you was told to her by a frightened nurse. I fact-checked what I could. My sister was literally hysterical. She was squeaking a full octave higher than usual, and at twice the speed. I have never seen her act like that before. Her shoulders and arms had bruises so big that I thought maybe she had been in a car accident on the way home. She told me she didn't know where she'd gotten them, and when I tried to put her to bed, she freaked out and started screaming at me that the bedroom was too hot. I took her temperature, which was 102.8 degrees. I convinced her to go to bed. I fell asleep on the couch shortly after waiting for a call from our town's ME. I woke up to my phone going off. I had 7 texts from friends of mine, all reporting the same thing. Entire families were being found beaten to death all over Mammoth. Blood, bruises, nails, and teeth missing. Hair ripped out, all of them. I heard reports of anywhere from 14 to 15 dead bodies, depending on who you're talking to. In a state of complete shock, I did the only thing I could do really well on autopilot. I wrote an article about it for my blog. I made some calls around the city, but my usual contacts weren't picking up. I went to check on my sister, and she was bleeding from her ear, heavily. Between that and the bruising, I started to wonder if these were actually home invasions at all. I called the 24-hour urgent care in town, but no one picked up. I didn't want to risk driving her back to Oro Valley. I then tried 911, which also rang endlessly. I called my friend in Oro who works for a legit news agent, and she told me that they were reporting Northwest Medical was running a skeleton crew because most of the staff had either called in sick or been found dead in their homes. She said she's seen tanks in Oro. I woke up the next morning and my sister was gone. I don't know where she is, and I'm too scared to go looking for her. I've called the CDC multiple times, but every time I call, the same woman answers. The first time, she took a statement and said she'd get back to me. Every subsequent time I've called, she immediately puts me on hold. She never comes back to the line. This morning, my contact at the police department finally called me back. He told me the death toll is incalculable at this point, and they were being iced out by both the state and federal governments at this point, with one exception. 2 people from the CDC showed up yesterday. My contact overheard them talking about Mrs. Booker's cancer treatments as if they were relevant. He doesn't know if it is, but he hopes I can make something out of it. I can't. I don't know about Oro, but my estimation for Mammoth itself is around 40 dead after showing the same symptoms. I haven't seen any of this on the news, which I've been watching religiously. Why not? We've been told the safest place for us right now is inside our homes. I haven't seen a car pass down my street in 2 days. I'm scared. My sister is still missing, but I'm too afraid to look for her or go into the room she was sleeping in. My hair is falling out from stress. I've been smoking like crazy. This morning I noticed a bruise on my arm. I know my immune system is compromised and I'm too afraid to leave my house. I called my parents in Tucson and left a message, but they haven't called back. The last I heard from my friend in Oro was Saturday morning. She texted to tell me that they started to find bodies lying in the street. No one is bothering to collect them anymore. I responded, but she never texted back. I'll update as soon as I can. Anyone in Oro or Mammoth, please contact me. I haven't seen another human in over 2 days, and I feel like the last person on Earth. Edit. It's almost 6 here, and a siren has been going off for about 10 minutes. I don't know if it's a tornado siren or an air raid siren, but it's loud and creepy as fuck. I noticed a small bruise on my arm that upon further fucking inspection spreads all the way down one side of my back. I'm so fucking scared. I had a breakdown where I just screamed at the wall and cried, and there was blood in my tears, and that was like an hour ago. To the person calling business is here, that's not us answering. Our downtown has been shut all day. I called a couple places where I know the business owners and employees, and the people who answered are not locals. I don't know what they told you, but they're not from here. I'm going to go over to the neighbors because I can't be alone anymore, and fuck it. It's not like I can get it, because I've already got it. The sirens have terrified me, and the sun's almost down here. My name is Lindsay Allen. I'm 29, and I'm from Mammoth, Arizona.